everyone to the latest edition of the Get Up and Go show. Today I have the distinct pleasure of introducing to you and to myself a gentleman that I know by the name of Paul Fractal. I know he is a channeler. I know he is from Perth, Australia. And I know that he is a man who is very concerned about the state of our world and about messages that he receives from Spirit. So without further ado, may I welcome to the Get Up and Go show, Paul Fractal. Welcome, Paul, to the Get Up and Go show.
Thanks, Anne-Marie. So nice to be here. I'm in Australia. It's in the morning here. And what time is it your time? About 8 p.m. or?
It is 8 p.m. my time. That's why everything is kind of dark in the background here. And it is, what time over there?
3 minutes past 8 in the morning here.
There you go. Tomorrow for me.
Yeah, and you're yesterday for me.
That's right. We're already getting metaphysical. Whoa! And we haven't even started yet.
That's right. Yeah, jumping timelines. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
How cool is that? So I came to know about you through a Facebook group that we are members of called Spiritual Journey to the New Earth, right?
Oh, Sasha's channel, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a member of that group for quite a few years now, yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Wonderful group. Fantastic soul group. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, I read your bio on Facebook and I was quite impressed with all the different things that you've done in your life. Share a little bit about yourself, please.
Okay, well, I was born in Africa, in Kenya, but my parents are British, so they were actually working in Kenya at the time when Mum had 3 of her children there, and so yeah, I was one of them, and so I'm very proud of that actually to feel a part of me is in Africa. I've always felt that, and I was raised there actually as well. We lived in a country later on called Swaziland. Have you heard of Swaziland?
Yes.
Yeah. And so I did my primary school in Swaziland, and then did my high school in South Africa, which is bordering onto Swaziland. And then when I was about 16 years of age, the family emigrated to Australia. Didn't go back to England, but we did visit England quite a few times to catch up with the grandparents and things like that. So yeah, we just came straight across the Indian Ocean. We're on the other side of this ocean here is Africa, where we were living over there.
And you're in part of Australia, you're in the western, you're in Perth, right?
We're in Perth. We're in the most isolated city in the world, capital city in the world. So we're closer to Singapore than we are to Sydney. We're closer to Bali. Bali is just off our coast here, so we're closer to Bali than we are even to Melbourne. So a very, very isolated city on the planet, actually, but a beautiful city. Very, very nice.
I can imagine. Yeah. And so what keeps you busy these days?
Well, normally this time of the year, being winter time, my wife Letitia and I, we manage a ski lodge on the other side of Australia, from where I am, about 4,000 kilometres from here.
Wow.
And we've been doing that for quite a few years, but because of COVID, we've got a hard border closure for the state of West Australia, which means that we can actually leave. There's very few cases here now, I'm pleased to say. We just aren't getting any daily cases anymore of COVID here. And but the other state's not quite the same. So our border's very, very tight. So we can't, we can go over there, but we can't get back to WA, back to West Australia. And so we weren't able to do that work this year. So here we are. We're in Perth for the first time in about 5 years in winter time, which is which is rather unusual for us to be here at this time. Um, During the summer months here, we work in visitor engagement in a museum, actually two museums here in Perth. So we'll be continuing with that through the winter. So yeah, it's going to be nice to be here in Perth for the winter. Yeah,
Very interesting. How fascinating. That's just sounds wonderful. So talk to
yeah.
us a little bit about, well, I've noticed I've been following you as well, that you post almost daily reflections. So talk to us about why you do that.
Okay, well, basically, since I woke up, well, I'd say particularly in the last 18 months, I've been able to channel what comes through quite well. But I've got clear cognizance. That's my clear, and basically it comes through in automatic writing. So I'll start writing with very very clear thoughts in my mind, and then to use the expression, I actually use a keyboard, but I like to use this expression. The pen just flows. You know what I mean? Those words just come, and it's actually become a really strong learning platform for me. You know that basically as I start to write, I don't know what's going to come through. Actually, sometimes I'll use vocab that I'm not even sure I understand the meaning of, but when I check it in the dictionary later on, it's perfect in the context. I come up with concepts. I come up with answers to my questions. They come through, and so it took me a while to, I didn't notice it straight away. I just found myself writing quite fluently. But after a while, I thought I didn't realize that. I didn't know that. So that's what made me realize it was actually coming from spirit. You know, because I'm not clairaudient. I don't hear voices, but I do. It's clear cognizance. It's coming from that ocean, that we all have within us of knowledge, and yeah, it's great. It's exciting actually. Each day I think, what am I going to learn today? And because of it too, that's why I love to share, because I grow so much from reading other people's posts. That when something comes up for me, I just want to share it out.
Mm.
So yes, you're quite right. I do write these captions, which come to me very very often. I also lately I've been getting quite a lot of downloads as well, downloads of information, which are kind of like war and peace. And I think probably a lot of people, when they're reading, Facebook, and they see my post, they think, "Oh my goodness, that's too long. I'm going to move on to the next one." But the captions, yeah, a lot of those captions actually come from the downloads that I get. There'll be little snippets of information that I love to share. Do you want me to share one or two with you?
I would love it. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
please. Please.
So I remember one, for instance, which I think I called it "Meeting with God." Yeah. And hello, my name is Peter," said Peter. "Hello, my name is Paul," said Paul. "Hello, my name is Mary," said Mary. And then, "Hello, my name is Peter, Paul, and Mary," said God. So that's basically, you can see from that is we are all part of that one. We're all part of that source, God. There's a little bit of each one of us in God. Um, Apart from that, another one I love too is beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but in the I am of the beholder. The beauty lies within there. So normally we're thinking of beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but beauty is in the I am, the eye of the beholder. Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah,
wonderful.
yeah, little things like that they come up all the time. So yeah,
That's fantastic. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to reach out to get to know you a little bit better, because
yeah,
you take the time to share, and it doesn't matter, you know, you're not doing it for any other reason other than you feel it needs to get out there, and you let spirit do the rest, right?
That's it. I'd like a. I would. You're probably aware that I don't actually have any financial um, desire through my spirituality for what comes up for me. I learn so much from other people, so I love to share what comes up for me too.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically it. Yeah,
That's so terrific. So, I mean,
yeah,
you've already told us how this
mm,
global calamity has affected
mm.
you. Um, how do you, I don't know if it got you down for a while. How do you wake yourself up and motivate yourself? If you
Um,
literally can't leave your state. I mean, if I couldn't leave New York State,
mm,
that'd be,
yeah,
that's a big deal. And you're
yeah,
being a woke individual, and in Australia, which is it's very clamped down, much so more than here in the US.
yeah. No, you know what? I've just cruised through it. Really, I
Brilliant.
really, really, I guess from a spirituality point of view, just focusing on the aspects of our true nature, the authentic self. There's so many beautiful qualities there. The love, the peace, the happiness, the joy, the equanimity, the balance. If you just focus on those during the day, you find happiness. Happiness is found in each one of those things. When you're peaceful, there's happiness. When you've got balance in your life, you're happy. Uh, all of those things. So just by focusing on those, I find that um, it's fine. It's fine. Another thing too, Anne Marie. I'm very much. I follow the truth, the spiritual truth that everything is meant to be. Every single thing is meant to be, no matter whatever's going on in the story of the world. I mean, our real truth lies in those qualities. The peace, the equanimity, and all those things I was referring to there. That's where our real truth lies. That's up in the 12th dimension, and we're right down in the third dimension here. So we're a long way from the truth. This is why they say in spirituality, that what we're actually going through here is an illusion. But
Yeah.
it's an illusion it's an illusion though that we really need to take seriously why we're here. We're here for a reason to grow and expand from all of these challenges we're facing at present with COVID and with the riots and all that kind of thing. And so, yeah, no, it's I think just by focusing on those qualities, you can see the big picture, and that's one thing that came through in one of my downloads. This was probably about 2 years ago. It was a download that I called "From a Distance," and it actually I got a visualization of when I was in your part of the world, in New York, about a few years ago, and it was my first time there. I love your city, by the way. I love New York. It's great, great, great. Um, but I remember, being in the city there, the NYPD, you know, driving around, sirens going, ambulances. It's a real get up and go city. Everything happens there. Homeless people. The time I was there was in February, and Central Park was, obviously in the middle of winter. It was pretty brown and drab that time of the year. I can imagine how beautiful it would be though in the summertime, as you would see it now. And then later in the day, this particular day, we were there for a few days, but this particular day that came up in this download, um, we went out. We took the ferry out to Ellis Island, to go and see the statue. Yeah, and then so I had in my mind, all those things, the lower vibrational stuff, from a not so sunny day in New York, and seeing those things, and then heading out over the water there, and then we get to Ellis Island. I turn around and I look back, and I saw the most beautiful sight. Absolutely, shards of light coming off the skyscrapers. It was late afternoon or mid-afternoon, I don't know. It was in winter, so it's probably mid-afternoon. Orange light, sparkling building, sparkling water. I'm looking at the same city, yeah, but I'm looking now from a distance. I'm looking from the higher vibrational point of view. When you get right into the story, you see those things. You see what's going on, with the ambulances, the police, and all that kind of thing. But when you see it from the high vibrational point of view, where our truth really lies, you get a completely different picture, you know.
Beautiful.
And um, that was a great download. I really got a lot out of that, and it kind of developed a little bit later on too. To the same idea came up again for me, but it was looking at an impressionistic painting in an art gallery. If you go right up to it closely, you see all the noise, you see all these splashes of color. Yeah, there's a lot of confusion. But then as you move away from that, you pan out of that, you walk away from the painting, the more and more real it gets. And that's the perspective. That's where our truth really lies. So what's going on now with COVID and everything else? It's not the big picture. The big picture is looking extremely, from what I've been getting in downloads, is looking extremely bright for humanity right now. That's where we're heading.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing all of that. I did that. I lived on Staten Island for 6 years, and I did that ferry ride every day, twice a day. For 6 years working in the city, and it was one of the most inspiring. It was just so inspiring. It gave me the ability to tolerate working in Manhattan. Just to experience that beautiful harbor, those glorious buildings. I always saw the glory of God in those buildings. I really did. I mean, it's just a marvel. I don't live in the city anymore. I live by the mountains. And when we moved up, when we moved upstate, we call it upstate. I told my sons, I said, well, we saw man's achievement. Now we're going to see God's achievement. So we're up here in the mountains. I have a question. Is your name really Fractal?
No, it's not. No.
I didn't think so.
I'll explain that. Basically, my Facebook personal page is Paul and Tish Darwin. So I'm actually not a direct relative of Charles Darwin, but it goes down a cousin line way back. Because we're families from England, so we have found that out down a cousin line. That's our link. That's our.
Well, I'm getting a hit of energy. I don't know if you can see me shaking as soon as you said the word Darwin.
Oh, really?
I tend to shake, rattle, and roll. That's my that's my way. Fine. So maybe he's around here. Maybe he can show up in an orb. I get orbs every now and then. Come on, Charlie. You can come say hello to us. I got a pop in the ears. Maybe he will come through. Who knows?
Okay. Oh, there you go. But So what it was? I had this. I started off. I woke up 5 years ago, and
talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay, all right. So, I think when I go way back, I was raised Catholic. Okay. And I've always believed in the power of prayer. So I knew there was something out there. I always had that in the back of my mind. And then, a couple of, like a metaphysical experience where I was with this is when I was a very young man, probably about 20 years of age, back in the early 1980s. I'm in my late 50s now. So, But back in the early 1980s, uh, we were in the Solomon Islands. She wanted to go to the Solomon Islands, my sister, and she asked me if I wouldn't mind going because it wasn't a very, and it still isn't a very safe place to visit, but a beautiful country, absolutely beautiful in the South Pacific there, just off Australia. And we went on a like a boat to take us to a particular island called Giza, the island of Giza, which is off Guadalcanal. And we arrived on the island and went to our hotel that we thought we had a booking for. But when we got there, they said, "I'm sorry, we can't fit you in at this hotel. You're going to have to find alternative accommodation, and you're going to have to find it quickly because it was getting close to nightfall, and they said it's very dangerous at night to be anywhere out on the street." So we were frantically trying to find somewhere, and we went to a few places, and it was like, every inn was closed wherever we went. But this one place we went to said, "No, we have got rooms, yeah." And there was nobody else staying there, and it was kind of, if you imagine, like a hut on stilts, because I guess it was a floodplain there from time to time. And so we moved into this particular hut for the night. Just beds, no mattresses or anything like that. Quite uncomfortable, really. But we were so tired after the trip from Australia that my sister was on one side of the room, I was on the other side of the room. During the night, we heard this sound. It was the sound of a person who was struggling to breathe, and it was kind of like. Do you want me to give you an example of what it was like? It's kind of like,
Oh, yeah.
that kind.
Okay.
But it was a really painful breathing, and it became louder and louder and louder. At first, I thought it was my sister, and I was just about to say something when she said to me, "Paul, can you hear that?" And yeah, so it was a spirit there. Well, not a spirit, no, sorry. It was a fractal of energy. There was an energy there that was hanging in that room, and that was the first time in my life, that I'd experienced anything like that. Can you hear that blower in the background there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's not affecting your. You can hear me
I'm
okay.
fine. I can hear you fine. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. That's good. So there's an example there of a metaphysical experience. And then moving on from that, I guess we go then to uh, my mother's funeral, where the day before she was laid to rest, she was the day before she was going to be cremated. Basically, there was a viewing of the body. I was working as a pilot in another part of the country, but I came down obviously for the funeral. And my dad said to each one of me and my siblings, with a large family, 5 kids in the family, and said, I really would like you to be there for your mother's, viewing of the body. And so I was very reluctant, but I thought I'll do it for Dad. I didn't want to see my mum in a coffin, but I'll do it for Dad. Yeah. So we're sitting there, and the coffin's in front of us, kind of like up on the altar. And the idea was to walk up to the coffin counterclockwise around it, So have a look at, pay last respects to my mum. Walk around her feet at the top of the coffin there, and then back towards the audience. And of course, the family was invited to do this first up. And I got up out of that chair, and I thought to myself, I really don't want to do this. And I was holding back those tears. I thought, this is the last time I'm going to see my mum, and I thought, I've got to do it. I'm doing it for my dad because my dad wants us to do it. And do you know the moment that I set my eyes on my mum, I had this epiphany. And it was kind of like, it was absolute bliss. I had gone in a split second from being so low, so completely depressed, the situation, to absolute bliss. Do you know what it was? it was an absolute, total realization that Mum wasn't there. And that sounds strange. Her body was there, but I knew just the moment I set my eyes on my mum, where is she? She's not here, you know. And then I realized that this I was recognizing the spirit wasn't there, and that too was a little bit of a waking up for me. And you know how it is after a while, you kind of let these things go by, you know. But then let's come way, way. That was 30 years ago. My mum this year died 30 years ago. Oh, no,
Oh,
next year, 30 years.
we're young.
So it's 29, 29. Yeah, very young. Yeah. Um, so 5 years ago, I'm. Uh, I'm an afternoon. I'm in the surgeon's office, and I've received notification, that I prior to this that I had colon cancer. We call it bowel cancer here, but colon cancer. And the surgeon was extremely worried about it because although it didn't seem like my stages were too advanced, I think I was probably in stage 3, not even stage 4. But the nature of the operation, which was a bowel resection, basically they were going to remove the sigmoid part of my colon or my bowel. They're going to take that out and then re-stitch it all up. But I've had this for a while, cardiovascular disease. I've got a, problem with my heart. And he said, we're very, very concerned that I have to tell you this, but your chances are, at that time when I had that operation, it was about 50-50. You're going to actually come through the operation alive. So I'd gone from, and I felt absolutely fine, Anne-Marie. I didn't even feel sick. I never realized, I was just doing a very routine bowel cancer, uh, colon cancer test. I did it for the sake of my wife, Letitia, because she just insisted. She said, "No, no, I'm having it, so you're going to have it," kind of thing. And when the results came back, she was clear, but I was positive for cancer. So so anyway, um, yeah, whole world fell apart basically. I had to give away work. Had a holiday planned. It was, but they were little things really. The thing was, um, I had this incredible. I always had it. A real fear of dying. Which, by the way, now I don't have at all. It's just completely evaporated that. But I had this real fear of dying, and yeah, Um, then, when I was in hospital recovering from that, of all the people, all the thousands of nurses in Perth who should be looking after me, it was a former neighbour who lived just over the fence, just over there. Her name was Lee, and her husband, not husband actually, partner, Stefan, who lives in Bali now. But beautiful, beautiful couple, and they were very spiritual people, and they were the crazy spiritual people next door. I'm one of those crazy spiritual people now for my neighbours over there. But yeah, they were, I loved them. They're great neighbours, but I thought they were crazy with those spiritual ideas. So Lee was a nurse, and she was the one who was assigned for the entire time I was in there for like 10 days of recovery. She was the one looking after me. And she kept saying to me, Paul, meditate, and Paul, you can heal yourself. This is what she was telling me. I was going, oh, yeah, yeah, Lee, thank you so much. Yeah, but really shrugging it off. But then something happened. I don't know. I just started to meditate, and I got very deeply into it, a lot deeper than I thought I would do. And I had a significant shift within the space of days. All my previous beliefs, and I was actually a practicing Catholic. I never left my faith, um, but it all crumbled. The whole lot crumbled, and I just basically I woke up in the space of 2 weeks. My reality had completely changed, and it just showed to me now, when you think of it now, that we do truly live in parallel realities. I've got two realities now, as you would.
Mm-hmm.
There's that spiritual side, which is the dominating side now, but then there's the other reality too, which is the 3D. And if I hit my finger with a hammer, I know about it. I feel it.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So they're both real. They're both real, but this is how we are living in two realities. And we're living multidimensionally too, because that's the 3D experience, is feeling the pain and transcending the pain. You know, so that's the 3D. But then, most of the time nowadays, I find myself, I've pretty well identified myself most of the time now in 4D, and sometimes in upper 4D, and occasionally I'm getting into the 5 now. You just go through those moments of absolute bliss, and you think,
Yeah.
why do I feel so happy? I just feel so light,
It's amazing, right?
so happy.
It's
So we are true.
so worth it. It's so beautiful when you're in that moment.
Exactly. So we are truly multidimensional too. We're multidimensional. There are such things as parallel realities. I realize that. You can experience that. I can. Everybody watching this I'm sure, will relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was basically my spiritual awakening from that.
That's a beautiful, beautiful story. Can I ask you? I was also practicing Catholic up until, a couple years ago.
Sure.
How is your relationship with? Because a lot of times there's a lot of conflict going back and forth, considering, how much, I don't want to say indoctrination, but the guilt level is kind of high.
It's very high.
So how, and because people have reached out to me, because on another interview, I mentioned with another friend of mine who taught me Reiki, that she was trying discerning to be a nun, but she had a different calling, and we both have a very loving relationship with our past. As a matter of fact, over my shoulder, I have this artwork. If I don't knock everything over.
Of Jesus.
This is the reason why I bought this. It says healing through the Sacred Heart of Jesus.
Sacred Heart. Yeah.
And that's a very Catholic thing. And I am just, the second I saw this, I just was like, that's mine. Because that ties into my deep, deep love for Jesus that I've always had.
Yeah.
So
well, you know what?
How do you feel about that now?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me that, because I'd love to share that. Basically, so the only problem.
My crown is breaking up.
I know. I love. Don't you love that feeling?
I love it. It's like, woo, okay.
Yeah. we're on the same level here, sister. I'm telling you. Yeah. Look, what it is. When that all crumbled away, I had this incredible feeling of guilt. I mean, what you were saying before about guilt, anyway, with the Catholic Church. We all feel that, but this feeling of guilt was letting go of something that I'd held so dearly. And you know what? I still do. I still do in many respects. I see things a lot differently now, but I don't regret for 1 minute being raised the way I was. And I realized the way I came to terms with it, the way I came out of that guilt, was to think, well, you know what? I'm closer to Jesus now. I feel closer to him now, and to Mother Mary, to the Blessed Mother. I feel closer to them now than what I did ever as a Catholic. And I've had conversations with Jesus now.
I know. I know. Can you believe that? How cool is that?
And it's just like you. It's like me. Just really cool dude.
It's the most beautiful thing. And my mother is 94, and we are Maltese Catholics. Sorry,
right.
There ain't no Catholic like a Maltese Catholic. And I'm getting a little teary-eyed, because it evokes a lot of emotion. And she's very sad. She's like, someone changed your mind. You don't come to church. You don't do this. And I was like, Mommy, I take her to church every Sunday morning. And I channel the whole time. I channel light language all the time.
Yeah.
And 2 or 3 are gathered. There am I in their midst. So that's true. And I looked at it all with love. And I said, Mommy, you don't understand. I am closer to Jesus now than I ever have been. And I speak to him and I talk to him. And I love him more than I ever did.
Absolutely.
And it's just
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So lovely.
I can.
That's so exciting. I just want to give you a big old hug. No
me too.
No wonder we have the same vibe. We have a lot in common.
We do indeed, Anne-Marie. We do.
Oh, that's so gorgeous.
And just one more thing about that too, about religions, all of them, I never ever resonated, even when I was a Catholic, I never ever resonated with, we're the chosen ones, like whether because we're Christian, we're going to be saved, or, and because they're Muslim or Jewish, following Judaism or whatever, that they weren't or were or whatever. The one thing I love about spirituality, it brings everything together. I actually had a mini download, I guess you could say, about 3 weeks ago, which absolutely just filled me with so much love for humanity. With recognizing the power of prayer, whether it's expressed the way we do now through spirituality, or whether it's actually speaking to a God that they feel is separate to them. You know what I mean? Like most religions do. As Christians speak to a God separate to them, so do the Muslims to Muhammad. So do all the religions around the world. Say all of them, not all of them. Of course, I'm thinking here about, Buddhism and Hindu. They speak to a God, deity, or whatever. But, that God that they're speaking to would never judge them. And what they're actually doing is, when they're honoring a God separate to them, they're honoring themselves, aren't they? Really, when you think about it, they're honoring themselves, because we are part of that one. Yeah, so that's what came to me the other day, and I thought, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with what. There's no right or wrong, is there?
No. I just recounted this story to somebody recently, and I go through ups and downs about how I feel about things, and I asked Jesus. I was there at Mass, and of course there's the corpus, the dead corpus on the cross. And I said to Jesus, I was like, how do you stand this? That they're adoring this dead body. And he said, Anne-Marie, don't judge it. You don't judge it. They were just like you, and they are good people leading good lives. And you have to love them and do not judge the situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. It's true. It's very true. It's very true. Because you have to look at them, and I look at my friends from church, my church friends. I love them dearly.
Oh, me too. Yeah. Most of my family.
Yeah, they're like, doesn't she do Reiki? She's delving into a lot. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I just go there smiling. I love and I hug them. Even if they bristle, it doesn't matter.
No.
Okay, it's all good.
Yeah. No, it is all good. It is all good.
So did you bring a mug of coffee this morning, since it's early morning over where you are?
No, not coffee. I've got tea in here. It's actually hibiscus tea. Have you had
Okay.
Really nice, made from hibiscus flower. Excuse me, I might just have a quick drink.
I think you should. You deserve it.
So, so this is Old Faithful. I take this one, take it everywhere, and you can see it there.
Yes,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
I'll put it that. It's really heavy. It's absolutely full of tea, and yeah, that follows me everywhere. You know, when we go to the beach, I've usually got a coffee in there for the beach, and it stays nice and hot. So we're probably about 20 minutes away from the Indian Ocean where we are here. So by the time we get down there, it's still nice and hot.
So
When
nice.
we're traveling, always put it in the suitcase. It's there all the time. Yeah.
See, I love this. I love spirit is amazing. And I don't know why I said to do this, but I always
Mm,
find it so interesting because these silly little things are such an
mm,
important part of our lives.
they
And
are. Yeah.
it's so metaphorical for so many
Yes.
different things. They could either
Yeah.
be gifts, they could either be souvenirs, or have a personal attachment. You know, you have personal stories with them. That's so
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. And you know what? It's got a strong spiritual connection too, hasn't it? The cup, the vessel. You know,
Oh,
the empty the empty cup. You know,
empty cup.
that is basically the space there to fill that. You know, uh, with whatever you want to fill it with. You know, you can fill it with happiness. You can fill it with peace, joy, whatever. Yeah. So
You're the
there's that
first.
spiritual side of it as well.
You're the first one to point that out. Even me, I didn't even get that, but woo,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so
I'm pleased.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think we have those dimensions up to the 12th dimension, but I think there is actually that 13th dimension we never talk about. Well, we do talk about the nothingness,
The
the
nothing.
emptiness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the blackboard of creation. You know, there's nothing on that blackboard. It's just completely empty. It's still. It's pure. It's absolutely free of. It's another. Um, it's the other side of that 0 point. You know that you reach when you connect with it inside here. Yeah. Hmm.
I'm getting light language through. Do you mind?
No, please,
Mind if I
please,
say
yeah,
it?
please.
Okay. Kaya
Hmm.
sa shuturu kaya tereke. Mara eri kara sushuturi kia taramataraka. Kiri haya turu kaya nia mara kara kia sushu. Era kara tia ramakaraka. Se shuha utura keti maya tereka sashu. Ese kura hatitrike aya tururu. Merikiria usushuhu. Merikia arukushuhu.
Oh,
All right.
beautiful. Oh,
Thank
I got the crown chakra
you. Yeah.
going here again. Yeah.
Ah, that's
Oh,
beautiful.
that's.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That
Well,
was
you know, it's all
went right
spirit
through me.
led. It comes out. It just comes
Oh,
out.
what a gift! What a gift! Yeah, that's fantastic.
Well, what a
Really good.
gift it has been to meet you and to get to know you. I really feel kindred. I hope we,
Yeah.
keep
Oh,
following each other and communicate.
absolutely, Anne Marie. Love to. Love to.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, this was a
Yeah.
wonderful, marvelous connection. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing your morning with us and with me.
That's a
Oh,
pleasure. And yeah, it's. I'd just like to say to you, as all you guys are we're going to sleep right now, um, streams. Yeah, and we're starting a new day here, a new beginning. I wonder what's going to happen today. Every day
oh,
is, yeah, a platform for creation, really, isn't it? Yeah,
amen. Amen to that.
yeah,
So, Paul,
yeah.
where can people reach you if they would like to follow your work?
Yeah, just my page, Paul Fractal. Um, and I've also got a soul group. It's a closed group, but anybody following a spiritual path is welcome to join that. I'm not after numbers. It's actually a small group because I'm really not trying to promote anything. But it's lovely to have people in that group, and there's some very very special people in that group that I treasure so much. So yes, so if anybody would like to join up there to Fractals and Oneness, then you're very welcome to do.
Okay. Well, we'll put those links in the section below this video. And again, thank you so much for your time.
That's a pleasure.
You know, humoring this strange woman that you really don't know very much, and taking
right.
time to connect with me. And to all of you, thank you for spending this time. And I hope you have found inspiration to get up and go. So God bless you. Good night, or good day.
Good night.
Morning.
Good night, Anne-Marie, and thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honour. Thank you.